Hey, what's going on? Matthew Taman here. Would you like to learn how to create a sales funnel for your webinars? Well, in this new course, I am going to teach you step by step what you need to do in order to get that going. You're going to follow along and build a sales funnel from scratch. Listen, I know what you're thinking, you have to learn how to code right. Not really. Well, in this course, you're going to learn how to build a fantastic sales funnel without writing a single line of code. Just follow my instructions and you're going to get your site up and going in no time. Before we get started, I just want to show you guys or go over what you're going to need. You know, I've already installed Joomla, I've already installed the extensions that's needed. And if you don't know how to install Joomla or install extensions, please watch my other videos that covers, and courses that I have that covers extensively how to do that. So the next thing that you're going to need is I'm using the Helix Ultimate Framework. So you go to joomshaper.com and you can click to download. You can download the quick start and then just install it. Or you can just download just the template. Again, I have a lot of videos that show you how to do that. Make sure you check those out. Once you've done so, and by the way, this is free too. You don't pay anything for it. It's a really beautiful framework. It's great, especially if you're a beginner, even if you're advanced, but it's really great all across the board. So this is my go-to framework to build templates with our website. And then the other things that you're going to need is you have the Quicks. It's another page builder that I'm going to show you how to build your pages with. They have a free version and then they have a pro version. The version that I'm using is the pro version. So I recommend that you go and you definitely get that. So you go to themeexpert.com and you can buy the pro version. And then finally, I am using Balboa Forms. In my opinion, this is the best forms for Joomla. I've used a lot of forms, but this is like my go-to one. Again, they have a free version and they have a pro version, but I'm using the pro version, for it. So it's really, affordable, $28 to get it. And it gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to create amazing forms. So once you've got all this out of the way and you've downloaded all this and installed everything, then now you have a clean slate like this. So from your Joomla backend, once you've installed everything with Quicks, you're going to have Quicks here. You click on Pages and then you click on New. So this is going to get you to something like that. And then now what we want to do is I want to give you like a basic quick tour of Quicks. By the way, again, I have an extensive tutorial and course that covers everything about Quicks, but I'm not going to do that in this one. I just want to get you up and going. So you put in your title here. I'm going to put in Joomla Live Training. And then you can go to settings, your page settings. This is where you can be able to make sure, it's just for the general public. Your status is it published, lift that to yes for the access. If you want to build something that's for, let's say you building like a membership site and you want only certain people to have access to it, you can choose that here. But for now, just leave the default and make sure this is enabled too. For the styles, you can leave the styles as that. And for the header optimization, so that the standard right now is going to work, just click on apply. And then next you want to go to the SEO settings. With the SEO settings, I'm just going to put in the same thing that I have here for the title. I'm just going to copy, and I am going to just copy this here, right click to copy, old school, but then just right here to paste. And then you can put in for your description whatever you want to put here as well. So whatever description you want to put there, you put in for your SEO. You can put that, for your SEO keywords. You can put your Twitter username, but this is okay for now. Now, if you want to add an image, so when you share the link, this is what it's going to show. You can add an image there as well. But that's just the basics there to get started. So once you've done that, you click on apply. And when you click on apply, you notice you have a page rank stuff on the side assessment here. This is just to let you know the different things you need to work on, which we're going to do that later on. So this is the page rank. It helps you to see your score in terms of effectiveness for people to find you. You can optimize your images. You can preview your page, and you can also make sure that you save. So let's click on save. And you get this message, and you can check out in different devices how your page is going to look. So as you do that, it changes. Let me X that out based on the size. Okay, so now we are ready to get this thing started. So our goal is to be able to create a free webinar page, lead generation page, where when someone comes on the page, they get the information, they'll click to subscribe or register. Once they register, they're going to be asked to put in basic information. And once they put that information, it's going to redirect them somewhere else. So let's get started here. The first thing we want to do is you have add section and you have add template. So I'm going to go over to add section, and it asks you what sections, how do you want to organize it. So with the sections, you have one, and you can see how it's split here, 3 columns, 4, and so on and so forth. So for this one, I'm just going to get this 2 right here. So now I have 2, and I am going to click to add new elements. Elements are just different things that you can add to your site, like different features that you're going to see here. So I'm going to add, for the first one, I'm just going to add a header. So this heading here, and I'm going to call this heading like a free 1 hour Joomla training. Okay, so now we got the header. Okay, so that's done. And then we can come here. You want to center it. How do you want to put it? Click on apply. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to just come right here, click on this drop, and I'm just going to duplicate it. And duplicate it, and I click to edit, and I'm just going to change this to free webinar. And I am going to do a little something here. This is just like for styling, so I'll change the color to that. And I can scroll typography. I'm going to go to transform, uppercase. So now it's going to make all of this here is going to be uppercase. Decorative, I can just leave it as it is. For the font weight, 400. I think that font weight, is okay. You can change the font here as well, but I'm just gonna lift that, just that default. That's up to you if you want to change it. For the line spacing, that seems to be okay. And then for the size, if I want this to be bigger or smaller, so I don't want it to be too big, so I think something like that is okay. All right, something like that is okay. And then I can come back if I want to adjust the colors again, I can do that as well. If I want to put in the middle, so that looks okay. Let me click on apply. Okay, so now we have that first part done. I'm just gonna modify this texture a little bit. So go to style, and let's go to typography, and I want to change the font weight for this to, let's say, like an 800. You notice it get darker, so the higher the number, the darker it gets. And you can change the font to something different here. They have a lot of different, you can try a different font style that you like here. Okay, so I'll just lift that default and put that back to, like, click here, default, and you can change to 500, different sizes you want. So we can lift that. We're gonna always come back to change that later on. Okay, and then just click on apply. So next we're going to add text, just to give people a little bit about information about what they're going to learn. So I'm going to come here, just type in text, and from the text I'm just going to type in, so training agenda. Let's put in here what I'll cover in this training. And by the way, you can just type in, like a normal Microsoft Word, typing and everything. So you put in here agenda 1, Joomla basics 2, or if you don't even want to put in the 1 and the 2, another thing is I'm just going to delete that 1 and delete that 2. We can always add those bullet points later on. Creating templates with ease, and then let's see, working from home. So this is just some of the basic things here that you can be able to put, and from here I can come and I can make this the bullet points now. So you see you have your bullet points there, and let's come over to this training agenda. We can make that bold, and we could even change the size. So when you put that there, you notice it gets bigger. That's a little bit too big. Let's try a 3. Okay, I think that works. Oh, we can even bring that down to try a 4. Okay, so that's better. So now we have the 4, and we have our bullet points set up right here. And then let's click on, if you want to make some more changes, typography. I think the color is okay. advanced, just anything else that I wanted to do. So let's leave that for now. Click on apply. Okay, so we'll have this for 1 hour training. We have training agenda, includes that. Okay, so now if you wanted to create another section again with more information on there, you can certainly do that as well. So let's come click here and let's click to duplicate. Okay, so the same thing. Once again, I just want to show you what to do. You can modify these with any content that you want. So we'll leave that here. And then we can come, let's say we want to add another one, just duplicate it again. So now we have 3 that you can give people information. You can change this from training agenda to something else, okay? I just changed it from, let's say I didn't want training agenda. I can just put in something like benefits of this training or something, just to show you. And you can change the title there. So I'm gonna make sure I save this, because it's always good to get in the habit of saving your work. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a video. So in this section, this empty section here, we're going to put in a video. So I'm going to click add element, and I'm just going to type in here video. So you notice that there are several video options. You have the video carousel, you have the video, and you have the video pro. So if I put in like the video, you can pick and choose any one that you want. Okay, you can choose any of the one that you want to be able to use. So I can go, let's say I like how the video looks. You can get your like a YouTube ID and put that right over here, or you can also get a Vimeo. So I'm gonna grab a Vimeo ID. So now I'm just gonna come in and just put my Vimeo ID right over and just paste it right there. So you notice it's going to automatically change, and that's the video that's right there. Okay, so this is training. And then from here, you can go to options. If you want to change the width, you want it bigger. As you move it, it gets bigger. Or you can just let's just resize this here. Now, when you click this here, it's going to give you the option. You can adjust this for every device. Okay, let's say you want to come to this, and if it's not the size you want, you can adjust this up or down. For the tablet, you can do the same thing too for the phone. So it's going to show you how it's going to look on each device. Okay, so now that we have that here, and that looks pretty okay. Or you could even adjust it, like you can move this like that. If you move it over, you notice that the video gets bigger, and you're able to have this. So I'm going to click on apply here. Let's find. So let me just move this over just a little bit. Let me see. Okay, so we'll move it over just a little bit. So now our basic, webinar page is coming along pretty nice. So let's see if we can scoot this one. Oh, see, I need to learn how to type right. Say 1 house training. All right, so let me fix this here before people think I'm illiterate. All right, so that's right there. Click on apply. So let's click on save. So as you can see right now, your page is coming along pretty neat, right? So now what we want to do is we want to be able to add, let's say you want to add something here so people can be able to register. Again, the goal of it is to keep things real simple. So we're going to click here. We can add, let's see what we're going to add over here. We can add like a share button or something. So let's go to element, and let's go to social, or let's go to icons or something. So we'll have icons, social icons. Now you notice it showed it at the very bottom. So if you want people to be able to share this, you can certainly do that as well. So you click on the social icons, you can put in your URL where you want it to go right here. Make sure you connect this to your pages. So your Facebook, you connect it there. You do the same thing too for your Twitter, your LinkedIn. And if you wanted to even add more, you can do so. You can add some more right here. But let's just start off with just these 3 right now. So we have just this 3. You want inline, or do you want like as a list? So let's click the inline for now. Okay. Apply. And what I'm going to do is I am going to just click here and just type in heading. And the reason I'm putting this heading is I want to put in something like, share this now. Okay, so I'm telling people to share this now, and that's too big. That's 1, it's too big, so we can go like a 4. If that's too big, you just go down the H5 and 6 makes it a little bit smaller. And then you can make sure if you want to put a link, we don't need a link there. So let's just click on apply. So now what we need to do is we just need to move this like that. Just drag and drop. Okay, so now we're saying share this, so people can be able to easily share this content. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build our form. This is where people can click to register. But before we do that, we can add a countdown so people know, okay, this is going to launch in a certain period of time. So there's two ways to add a countdown. We can click here to add element, and we'll just go to countdown. Okay, we have a counter that's going to count down. I spelled that wrong. Make sure I can spell here. Okay, so we'll have this counter. We don't need the counter. Let's have a countdown. Let's just think. Okay, so countdown. If I can spell today. There we go. Okay, so now we have a countdown. So we have a beautiful countdown underneath this video. And we can adjust everything you see on here. It's very, very simple. So first you have the days. You can choose what you want to show and what you don't want to show. Days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So I'm just going to leave that default how it is. But if you want to change it, you can be able to certainly do that here. You click here and you can change. You click here and you can change the date. Let's say I want a different date. I can do that. So okay. And if you don't want the days to show, you delete it. But let's just keep everything as it is. Let's go down to the additional settings here. Now, if you disable the label, it's not going to show the days, the hours. So you want to show that. You can have separators like that, which is not really needed. But if you want to, that's fine as well. And then the separator sign, you have the two dots. You can change that to something else. So if you want a custom label, let's say that you don't want this to be days. You want it to be, now. You can change that as well. Sign. So I'm just going to put this here, days, back to days. So, and for the style, you can change the colors for this. Maybe you're going for a particular branding. You can change the colors to match whatever you're going for. We'll have that here. The opacity, you want it to be really dark, fainted, or you want it to be like that. And then for the separators, you can do that separator color here as well. So I've changed the color for that, but I don't like how that looks. Okay, so let's go back here. We can put that. No, I don't like that either. So we can come back and you can pretty much just play around with this and see what color you like. So I like that blue. I'm just going to keep it at that. So we can leave this like right here, or we can be able to move it somewhere else. So let's try somewhere. Let's click on apply first, and let's create another row. This row is going to be just one, and let's see how it looks. If we can move this down, we're going to move this down to right here. Okay, so now we move this down to right here. Again, some people may like how this look. Other people like, you may not like how it looks, but that's okay. So next we're going to work on the advanced here for this row. The background. So you can have the background just to match this entire thing right there. So now it fits that bottom. Okay, so we can just leave that there, and I'm just gonna cancel that. Okay, so now you can play around with it. So let's try to move this back here. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that right there for now. And then finally, we are going to add something that shows, for people to register. So this is where once they click register now, it's going to lead them to, they can put in like their name, their email, and basic stuff like that. So you can go here to add element, and you can do forms. Now they have a form that comes with Quicks. It's a really simple form that people can be able to fill. But I want to show you how to use the form that I normally use when I'm doing stuff like this. So I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to make sure I save this. Now I go to the back end of Joomla, and we are using the Balboa forms. Let me just close this out here. The Balboa forms. So you go to extensions, components, and you go to forms. So from components, you go to forms, and we're going to create a form here. Okay, so let's just click on new. So we're going to call this one here just Joomla training. You can name your forms whatever you want to be, and you click on next. So when you do that, you have a blank slate here. Just a quick overview of how the forms work. This is all the different elements that you can be able to, drag and drop to build your forms. Over here, if you want to build a form faster, you click on that. So you have a contact form, application form, booking form, order form, callback form. And this is really simple forms that you can be able to use. You have multi-page forms, which is what, we're definitely going to use, a multi-page form. And then you have an event registration. You can use this one too as well. And you have a newsletter. So any one of these here, once again, you have to get the pro version, for this. So let's just say we wanted to have, let's scroll down here and see what we want, because we want to keep everything simple. So we'll click on the job application form, and we'll just click once, and let's input the form there. Now you can modify these to be anything that you want it to be. Okay, you can move things around, you can put whatever you want here. So we want to keep things simple. So there's some of the fields here that you don't necessarily need to have. Okay, so we have here the phone number. You may want to collect the phone number. You may not want to collect the phone number. So for this one, we're just going to click to just delete, because we don't need the phone number to delete. So we just want to collect here. Let's keep it simple. Let's delete that. We just want to collect their name and their email, right, for the first phase. So let's drag this. We can move this over to put it right here. So we want to collect their name and the email for the first step. And then when they get to the next step, we can leave employment date. Not really. The goal of it is you can modify these to change and put whatever you want to put, here. So we can modify, instead of positions, just click to edit. So we can put, let's say something like apply for position. We don't want that. So general. So let's say we can put choose your time or something. Okay, and then we'll come back, go back to items, and then you can put here morning. You can put afternoon. You can put evening. We don't need this. We can check this too here, and we don't need them. We just delete those. Okay, let's delete. So morning, afternoon, evening. So they can choose the time that they want to register for this particular webinar. Okay, so once you've done that, you go to general. You can make all this with the stars and asterisks or required fields. So they choose their time. So now let's click the X, and now they can choose their dates. So we don't put employment date. We can put here webinar date. Okay, so now they can choose the date that they want to attend this webinar on. Just click to X dissolve. We don't really need them to upload anything, so we can just delete this here. We can delete that there. So once we're done, first let's click on save. So we have a two-step that they click this here, and then they can be able to, fill out the basic information that's needed there for them. So you can go to design if there's a certain scheme that you want. You notice that you can match it based on whatever design. If you want a custom, you click here, you can adjust the theme to be custom how you want it to be. So let's just click here, and we're going to keep it like this. And let's click on save. So now we're going to go over to input this information to the front end so that we can be able to see. Okay, so let's come here. So we're going to create something here that says register now. Let's click on add new, and then let's go to text. Let's start put text. And we're going to use the text module for that. So let's delete this. So now let's put this on the front end. So you want to be able to have little brackets like forms, ID equal 8. So this particular form, the ID number is 8. How do you know that? Great question. When you're creating your forms, you're going to have ID numbers here. Since I've done a lot of different forms here, you make sure that you put in the ID number for that specific form you just created, because that's what it's going to show. So we'll put the here, and let's go to the styles. Let's make sure we put this here like in the middle. So the form is going to show up at the bottom of this here. Okay. So let's click on apply. Now you won't be able to see anything. So when you click on save, you're probably wondering, Matthew, what is going on? I don't see anything here. How can I know, what people see? Okay, great question. So now we are going to connect this particular form to a menu. Okay, the menu is going to be, this is the link that you're going to share with people. There's two ways to do this. The first way you want to do this is, let's go to menus. You just click on, you can create any menu or you can add it to an existing menu. So for this one, I'm just going to go to hidden menu. And by the way, with Joomla, you can create as many menus as you need to, but to make this simple, you go to menus. Let's just go to add new menu. So from here, you can click on training. Okay, that's the new menu you're creating called training, and then description, training. And then we're going to click on save and close. And once you've done so, you're going to see a training menu shows up here, so you want to click on there. And then you can come here to be able to connect. You got to connect this page now with the new menu that you just created. Okay, so you see here it says link to menu. So you want to click to link to menu, and then you want to select your menu. Now, if you notice here, it's not showing up. The training menu that we just created is not showing because we would have to refresh, this page. So let's just cancel this. Make sure we click on save. And then let's just refresh this page, just reload. And then let's go back to here. Let's go to link menu once it's reloaded. So now you see we have the training. Okay, we want to put the menu title. We can call it anything. We just call it, Joomla. Joomla training. And then you want to click on the menu root. That's fine. Click on create menu. So it's giving you a message saying alias is required. This is just what is going to show on the website. So your website.com/ whatever you name it here. So if I call this just Joomla training, this is what the link is going to say on there. So I'll leave it as Joomla training, and let's click on create. So now it's saying that I've successfully created. If you get this, don't worry about it. You can always go back. So when you visit the page, you have something that looks like this. Don't worry about it. At least you see what direction it's heading. So we just have to make a few adjustments to this. So if you notice right now, this here is the size of this is too big. So we are going to, if you want to keep the countdown, you can move it in a different position, or we can adjust this whole thing here. So let's get started first by let's adjust in this and then work on the form. So to adjust the forms, you click to edit, you go to advanced, and let's go over to the background. Do you want to adjust the colors for that? Let's say we want to keep the colors as that. One of the beautiful things about this is that you can get to play around with this form, this so much, and design it how you want it to be. And you can move things around. You can change things that you don't like. Let's go to element style. And then you can go over to, from styles, you see a line height. You can change the line height. If you move it up, you notice it gets bigger. And then you can bring it back down. And you can also adjust the line height based on the device. So when you go to the tablet, you see how that looks. Well, you can adjust that, and it still looks that way. So what we're going to have to do is we are going to have to either remove this days and just have hours, minute, and seconds to give it more space. So let's try that now. Go to countdown. So now you see if you remove that, you have hours, minutes, and seconds. So if you're going to have something in hours, minutes, and seconds, you can do that. But when you add this extra on there, the space there is not enough. So let's find a workaround for this. Okay, so let's click on apply here for a second, and let's go back to the desktop view. So one of the ways we can do this is let's try to move this over like that. Okay, when you move it over like that, then it gives you a little bit more space. So I want to change this free Joomla training. I'm just going to keep it just because I want everything to fit here since we're adjusting this section. Okay, so now that fits, or you can make that H2 and then click on apply. So let's click on save. So the first thing we want to work on is we want to work on this spacing right here. So now we're going to go and let's view this with the changes we just made, how that looks. So now you notice that it has a little bit more space, but the form right here is still not showing how it needs to show. We can fix that later on. So you have this right here. Or if you want to make this whole section blue, we can do that as well. So we're going to move things around just a little bit. So what I want to do now is I am going to create a new section. Okay, so create a new, let's see here, add new section. In this section, I want to be able to make this whole thing here to be, let's say, blue. So I'm going to go over and just go to the section settings, style. Let's go to the background and let's just change that. So now we have this whole thing that's blue. So let's click and apply here. And then we're going to move this over. Let's move this in and see what that looks like. Okay, so we can have the countdown. Now the reason why, if you notice, I tried to move it's not moving because you have to make sure you add a column. So let's start with this one here. Let's have this 1 column and then see about moving this here. Now we can be able to drag it. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so now we have this hair that's spread out at the bottom for the countdown, and we can move this form here. We can put it at the bottom of this. So let's just delete this section right here. So we don't really need that. And let's click on save. One thing that I will tell you is that as you work on stuff, you want to be able to check the preview, see how it looks, if it's coming closer to what you're aiming to do. Okay, so now we have the countdown here, and let's come back and let's make some adjustments to this. Okay, so we're going to create a new element. Let's just call this heading, and we're going to put this, and let's say only a few days left or something like that. Okay, apply. And we're going to drag this over. Let's move it up here. And let's edit. We want to put the countdown so that it's in the center. Let's go to styles, put that in the middle. And we can change the color to whatever we want it to be. So let's click here. Let's just make this all white. So we'll make that, click this, and then we're going to make this just white. Now, if you want to make that bigger, you certainly can. Let's see what the size here. So you can play with this size and see what works for you. So that size looks only a few days left or a few hours left or whatever you want it to be. So that looks pretty good, right? So let's come, I'm just gonna make one quick adjustment and let's change the date here. Let's put, you know, just something like that. So it gives it more days, only a few days left. Okay, so that's that right there. And let's come now, we can move this form to be at the bottom of this. So let's just drag this form here and we're gonna drag it to be at the bottom. Sometimes you have to drag it a couple times, so let's drag it here. And now the form is at the bottom, so let me come here and I'm just going to delete that. I don't need that anymore. So let's click on save. And again, let's check your work, see how things are going. Always get in the habit of checking your work. So now we have this here. That looks okay. Now, if you want to adjust the space between up top here and the bottom, we can do that, or if you even want to move this form. So let's do this here. Okay, let us just adjust the space between this, because if it's too much gap for you, that's no problem. So you go back to this section settings here and let's go with the style. Let's go to spacing. Right now it's set to 80. That's the reason why you have all that space. But let's say we put it at, let's try 40. Now you notice the space change at the top and at the bottom. Or if that's still too much, let's do 20. And you can make the adjustments there as you see fit. And then that's good, looks good. Let's click on save. So now we're doing okay. So let's just come, I want to adjust this. I'm just going to click to edit and I want to move this so it's in the center. Click to apply. And I'm going to do the same thing too for this here. I want to make sure that I am moving it to the center. There we go. So now it's in the center. And I'm clicking to apply, and that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to come in and just going to delete this, just because I want everything to line up evenly like that, right? Okay, so click on save again. Only a few days left. Okay, so everything is coming along pretty good. So what I want to do now is I'm just going back and forth here. So I'm gonna adjust this. The reason I'm adjusting this now because we don't have as much, let's see here, I think that could still work like that. That's fine right here. So now we are going to continue to make some more modifications here. But so far, it's coming pretty good. I like how it's very simple. Again, the goal of it is something that's real simple. And now we need to work on this form. So let's do that. Okay. So first, before we do it, let's add a little more space here between the headings. So I'm going to add some more space right here. To do that, I go to the section and I go to styles, go to spacing. So right now is at 80. Let's say for the top, I want to put 120. That's going to give it a lot more spacing for there. If that's too much, you can always adjust that later on, and then let's click on save. And next, let's go over to the forms now. Let's work on this form. So I'm going to X this off. Let's work on this form. Go to components and go to forms. And let's choose the form that we are working on. And you notice right now, the reason why when you click on the forms here, let's go back here. The reason why when you just don't see anything yet. Let's go back to the form so it's not there. So we need to come back to the form section here, and we need to just, this section here, we need to delete it because it's starting from here and not from here. So let's just come here and we're just going to delete this item. Okay, so now we've deleted that item. Let's click on save. So when you come to the front end now, you notice that the form has this information, the name and the email that people can be able to follow through if they wanted to put like their name and the email here. So one of the things that I want to do with the form now is I want to be able to change it so it's going to go above there's only a few days left. So let's just X this off here. So the form is right here and I want to be able to adjust it so it can go above right there. So one of the ways that we can do this, we can definitely click to add a new row and make that just one, and we can just drag this form and just put it in this new row. Okay, save. And then we can also change the form style here. So let's say I decide I wanted to get a different form. Let's try that. So I'm just gonna come here and just delete this form. So let's go over to the templates. And we can choose any one of these here. Let's go for, let's say, a booking that has too many fields in there. All right, so this one here looks pretty simple. Let's check order form. So you can go through here and choose the type of form that you want to create. And you can adjust each part accordingly. And the reason I'm using the templates because they're already set to go. And all you have to do is just to choose one of them. So I'm just going to choose this workshop registration. Okay, so now it's very simple, and let's click on save. So we've updated the form to something else. And when you update the form, you don't have to change anything here. When you refresh your page, you should be able to see it. So now you see your form. It's shown here at the bottom, and it has only a few days left. So you have the option if you can move the form underneath this here, or you can keep the form right where it is. So people can put in their first name, their last name, their phone number, their email, and they can select the dates that they want to be able to come to this particular event. So now let's try something. I want to be able to, let's see here. Let's move this countdown up. So let's come back here. And this one of the things too about designing landing pages and sales funnels, that you can be able to move things around. Sometimes you think you've arrived and you're like, no, I want to make some changes to it. And so have that freedom. Don't feel like you have to be stuck at a certain point because you're certainly not. So let's create another section here. Okay, this section is going to be just one, and I am going to move this right here to this section. So now let me delete this here. So I've deleted that part. Now the form is at the bottom, and I am going to click on save. Let's take a look and see how it looks. So now people come to see this, and they can see the form at the bottom here. They can be able to fill out the form. You can add, let's style this a little bit. Now there's a couple ways we can style this form here. Right now it's really not popping as much. So let's see if we can add a border or something around it. To do that, let's try something. So let's go over to the section settings, go to style, go to the background overlay. And when you put different colors here, that changes. So let's check out the background. So when you put the background, you notice that the background changes to that blue let's adjust this a little bit. So I don't want that blue, but I want something that's a little fainty. So let's try this here. And let's click on apply. So now you notice that's a little bit like that. So let's click on save. So now you notice the form, it pops a little bit more because the background of the form, is white. And if you wanted to add some more text, let me just click to add some more text here. Just go to heading. So I'm just going to put in something like, please fill in the form, and fill the form completely. And I want this to be in the middle. I'm going to click on apply, and let's just move this up like that. Now let's drag it up again. Okay, so now I want to add a little bit of text. Let's go to text. So I'm gonna scoot this over like this, and let me see, go to style, go to typography. I want to make this text a little bit bigger so it's not too big. So I think something like that could work. Click on apply. And this we can put like a subheading for your text. So a subheading could be any content that you want to be able to put in here. Let me just make something up like, so I'll put in some basic content there, and I'm going to put that in the middle. That size looks good. Click OK. And let me go back to the actual form itself. I want to change where it says submit. We can put this to register now. Register now. Okay, and you can also change the button colors if you wanted to, design the background. You can, if you don't like that background, you can change it to match your particular site. So let's see, I want to go for something like this. I like not the red. Let's see. Okay, so that's okay for now. So let's click here. Make sure you click on save. And for your design, you did click on save as well. And let's preview it. And so there you have it, a simple form that people can be able to come in. You put your video that they can be able to check stuff here. And they scroll down, a few days left to register. You give them a little bit of information. They can click to register now. If we want to move this form, let's see, do we want to move this form in a different position? The settings here. So we'll just leave it as it is, and you see you have something that looks very clean and very professional and ready to go. So so one of the things I wanted to do is we can leave it as this, or we can put a major heading at the very top. Okay, but if you just want something that's simple, clean, then you can leave it as it is right now. So the first part of this is complete, the landing page. When people come in, they'll put in the information here. If you wanted to let's go back here. Let's say you wanted to change based on your country. You can click here. You click on this phone based on your country. You can come and choose it here. So the US, once you choose that there, it's going to change. And I'm going to change the country flag as well. Change that, and you click on save. And it's going to adjust the stuff here based on the country that you're choosing from. So this is a really simple form that people can be able to, build it. So in this next part, then we want to be able to have it where when someone submit this form, it is going to redirect them to a new page that we're going to create. So once we create the other page, this is where they are going to get access to the webinar. They're going to get access to, maybe you have other videos, other stuff that you want to share on that particular page. You can definitely do that as well. So to do so, we have our Joomla live training. So let's call this landing page. Make sure we save it. Now we want to be able to take them to the actual training. So we're going to have just like one video and maybe some content up top, and then we can have somewhere that they can be able to order your stuff, right? Maybe you have a training course or a particular product that you want them to order. So let's do that. And let's click on create a new page. And the process is the same. So you can put this Joomla training videos. And we can do the same thing too for the SEO settings. And the image, we're not going to put that for now. Let's click to apply. And we don't need the SEO thing for now. We're going to come back to that later on. So let's click on save. So we create a new page. In this page, we want to use this the videos that we've created. Whether you have a course that you want people to follow, or you have a product, it's the same thing. So let's click to add sections, and let's make this one. And for this section here, I want to be able to, let's see, I want to put something in the background. So let's go over to the style. We want to make this full width. So this is going to be, all right, so let's do this. All right, I'm getting too excited here. So let's click to add new element first. We're going to add a video. Let's grab the normal video, not the pro. And let's go to Vimeo. We're going to grab, you can get it from YouTube or Vimeo, but I have mine in Vimeo. Then I'm going to grab the ID and I am going to paste the ID right here. So I have my Vimeo ID and the options that I want to put. No, this one looks okay. So I'm going to click on apply. So now I want to create a heading. So I'm going to click on add new row. No, I don't need a new row for this. I'm sorry. Let me go back here. We can delete this row for now. We don't need it. So just click to delete it. So add new element. So we're going to make this one a heading. And we're going to call this best free Joomla training online. So that is our heading. We'll make this a 1 and let's go to style. Now this is where you can have some fun with the styling. I want this to be in the middle for the typography. Let's see, what font do I want to use? They have so many fonts here. You can kind of play with some of these here. Gray Sans. Do I like how that look? No, I don't really care for how that looks. So I'm just gonna choose some type of font here to go with. So I just chose Open Sans Condense. Make that 700. Probably not the best font, but you know, you can change it to whatever you need. So I'm gonna drag this over like this, and we're gonna make this a little bigger. Something like that. Let me change this font. I really don't like that font. Let's see. Oh man. Okay, so let's go with this one here. This, you know, this is better. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like that. And I'm going to move it up above the text. Above the video. So now I'm going to come here and duplicate this. And then I would change this to, so I copied it and I put my text. So what I need to do now is I need to change the size of it. So we can change that, go to style, go to typography. That's too big. 59 is too big. Let's bring that down to size like that. And I don't want that to be the 700 for the weight. So I think that right there. I think this okay. Let's see anything else for the advanced. So I think this right now looks okay. So let's click on apply. Okay. So this is where after people have already, you know, registered for your webinar, it's going to redirect them to this page. So you have, maybe you want to put up a couple of videos that you've done. So that's the first one. So let's change this background. Let's work on this. So with the background, let's go to advanced. Now let's go to styles. Let's go to the background here. Now, if you want to do a dual background, like a fade, you click on this. You can choose 2 different colors. So if I choose this color and I choose that, you notice that it's a blend between both of them, or if I choose something like that. So you can kind of choose and mix it how you want it to be. So let's see if I reverse it like that and I reverse it like this. Okay, so this okay. You can always change that later on. And let's just make this font, the text here, you know, black. You can keep it the black, or we can go with something like, you know, white. I like that better mixture because it just stands out a little bit more. Let's change this to something like that. Okay, and let's add a little more space between this the text and the video. So we can do so. Go to advanced, the element style. Let's see, we want to add some space. So for the bottom, so if you put whatever number, the higher the number, the more space you put. So I think 22. Let's put 30. All right, so 30, that works. So now people come here, they're watching the video. You can even add some links for them to share. So let's take a look now and see what we've created thus far. So let's preview this thing. Okay, so now they've come into your training and they're watching it, and you can even give them a link that they can share this thing with. So let's come back here. So now let's say that you have several videos that you wanted for them to watch. You know, sometimes when you're creating your webinar, your training session, sometimes you want to give them access to, like, you know, let's say level 1 preview, level 2 preview, level 3 preview. You can do that here as well for that. But I want to keep things really simple. So let's say they're watching this now and you want them while they're watching the video, if you want them to order something so let's click to, we're going to add another, let's just add a new row here and make this one. So we're going to create an order form, okay, that they can be able to put in their information. You can charge them directly, from here. So let's go over to this. Now there's the previous form that we created. We don't need this one, so just click on close. We are going to create a new form. Okay, we'll call this one Joomla order. So sign ups or something, click on next. Now we can build a form from scratch, but to save time for you, which time is precious, let's click on the templates. Let's go to order. And you see different order forms here that you can be able to use. So which one are we going to use here? Let's see. Okay, let's go with this cake order, business cards, donation form, hotel order form. And you can always customize these to whatever you want. So let's just go with this one, donation form right now. Click once. So you have the different amount here that they can order. So let's say you're offering different packages. If they order this, you can do that here as well. So let's click on save first. And we're going to do the same thing we did before, add a new element. We'll call this just a text element. And in this text element, let's just add some brackets, forms ID equal 9, because the last one was an 8. So let's click on apply. And let's put this in the middle. I forgot to put in the middle. Go to styles. You want to put this in the middle and click on apply. I think we're going to add this one. We're going to add it in its own section. Let's just add in its own section here. Okay. So let's move this down to this. And we don't need this extra empty row. So the reason I'm doing that is I want the form to pop a little bit like we did before. We're going to the background and we're going to use something like that. Let's click on apply. And let's delete this extra stuff here. We don't need this one. And let's click on save, and we are going to preview. So once you preview, this is what it looks like now. You can change where it says donation amount to packages amount. Maybe you want to offer several different packages that, for that particular course. You can be able to do that. You can change a lot of things, on here. And you can also view it on different devices to see how it's going to look. So that's how it'll look on the mobile. So you can adjust the heading here. That's how it's going to look on a cell phone. So overall, you have something that's really basic that people can be able to get access to, and it's really simple for you to build and get everything going. So as you can see, we started from scratch and we built something very simple but yet professional. So you have something like this where people can be able to register, and then once they register for the webinar and you want to actually sell them on whatever you're offering, you can create different packages that you want. You can have as many packages, as little packages as you want, and you can customize this to be however you want it to be. It works great on all devices.